Cardinal fans, we're back for This Week in Ball State Sports on the podcast. Took last week as a hiatus for spring break, but we're back. And Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell joins us very first. Women's golfer J.J. Gregston joins the show. And Alex Maloney, assistant baseball coach, also talks about his dad and that 1,000th win that he got against Purdue-Fort Wayne on Tuesday. Jeff is up first. Jeff, appreciate you joining us live from Cleveland, Ohio at the Women's Mid-American Conference Tournament.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mick. Pleasure to be here.
What's it like there in Cleveland right now? It's a good time to be a Ball State Cardinal.
Well, it is, and we've got a lot of Ball State fans in Cleveland. We had a great turnout yesterday in our quarterfinal match. It was great to see everybody, and it's a beautiful day in Cleveland. A lot of sunshine, a little chilly. I made about 3/4 of a mile walk, may have been more than that, to some AD's meetings earlier this morning, and made the walk back. And so I'm energized now, having been out in that brisk air. And we'll go to the arena shortly to watch some of the men's basketball tournament and get ready for our women's semifinal match tomorrow morning.
Did you think you'd be able to get a workout in mid-morning during the tournament here?
Well, it certainly helps with the steps for the day, that's for sure.
Jeff, a lot going on. We mentioned basketball. Let's go ahead and start there. You being in Cleveland, women's basketball team wins the regular season title outright. Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, a couple of All-MAC selections. All of the recognition they got was well-deserved, and really good to see that happened.
It is, and such a compliment and testament to the quality program that we have here at Ball State with our women's basketball team. And I'm very happy for Coach Brady Selly and for Allie and for Marie, who absolutely deserved all of their respective honors. Coach Selly is very quick to point out how helpful and excellent his staff is, and I concur. And certainly the depth within our program from a talent standpoint with our student athletes certainly is also deserving of credit because it does take a depth of talent to help teams win championships. And we certainly were fortunate to win an outright championship. And so it's been a lot of fun to celebrate them the past week. A lot of effort and planning from our staff went into that, and we want to celebrate success. And so when we have it, we want to be prepared for it, and we want to enjoy it with them. And it's a lot more fun to plan for that success than to react to it because we're preparing for sustainable success within our programs and look forward to continuing to celebrate more, not only with women's basketball, but with certainly other programs within our department.
Yeah, we hadn't had a chance to talk about the celebration post-game after Ball State women's basketball beat Buffalo to clinch the outright regular season championship. To do it at home on Worthen Arena's floor, and for Brady Sally and that group to be able to cut down the nets in Worthen, that whole moment was just really magical, soaking it in and seeing everything that took place.
Yeah, it was a special moment. And these things are really hard to earn. Winning is not easy across any sport, and certainly not in basketball. And we've had a remarkable run from a women's basketball standpoint, certainly under the leadership of Coach Sally. And he'll be the first to tell you how difficult it is to win. And so to break through, to get it done, especially for that senior class who's worked so diligently, certainly the core four over the last several years, to earn that opportunity to play for a regular season conference championship, to win it at home, to cut down the nets at home, to celebrate with confetti cannons and cake afterwards, and utilize those ladders that they see every day to actually go and utilize scissors for a really fun, creative arts project to cut down those nets. It brings chills to me right now thinking about it, and really happy for our program, happy for our fans, because the loyalty of our fans has continued to be ever present, certainly over the last decade. And Coach Selly and his teams have continued to drum up support within the Muncie community, the Ball State community, the East Central Indiana community, to come and cheer on these talented young women. And we had great crowds all year long, and certainly have a good representation here in Cleveland this weekend for the MAC championships.
Another huge accomplishment, head coach Rich Maloney crossing the 1,000 win mark in his coaching career. Got it done against Purdue-Fort Wayne on Tuesday. Really special day there as well. So we get to cut down nets with the regular season championship for women's basketball, and then go see Coach Maloney win with number 1,000. Pretty special week.
Yeah, it really has been. And again, you're prepared to handle success and prepared to have it, and we celebrate it. And so we got to celebrate Coach Maloney post game with the players giving him a jersey that we created that has his name on the back and 1K representing 1,000 wins, and did a video montage. And our sports information office, led by Kevin Messenger, has been putting out really terrific. Profiles of Coach Maloney as he's led up to this 1,000 career plateau after he won it. And then I think we've got another feature coming out just to talk about his um, or him being the primary architect of this program. And so we're really proud of him. He's an excellent coach. He's a great human being, and he has a lot of stories to tell from the numerous teams that he's coached, not only at Ball State but at Michigan as well. And just really proud of that milestone for him, and to think that roughly 2/3 of those wins have come at Ball State,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really meaningful not only to the university, but it's also meaningful to him because he really has built this program. And you can argue he's built it twice. Built it the first time he had the opportunity to go be the head coach at Michigan and was very successful there, and then had the opportunity to come back to Ball State and has resurrected the program yet again. And certainly probably playing the best baseball that Ball State has enjoyed over the past really several decades, over the past few years. And that's a credit to him, and it's a credit to his staff, and certainly credit to our student athletes who want to play baseball at Ball State because they know that they'll get better as players. They know that they'll get better as young men. And for several of them, they'll have the opportunity to develop to play at a higher level in professional baseball.
So we've been able to celebrate great accomplishments. You've been in the middle of all that, but you've also had to hire some new faces. We have a new soccer coach.
We do. I'm very pleased to introduce Andy Stutes to our community. Andy comes from the University of Missouri, where he spent the last 4 years as associate head coach. But Andy has a tremendous breadth of experience, and he has coached at all different levels. He helped Minnesota uh, turn their program into something that is year in and year out competitive over the past few years. He was at Louisville in a stretch where they were very competitive, 2 NCAA tournament appearances. And Andy has, by trade, is a goalkeepers coach, but over the last several years, he has really morphed into a terrific tactical and technical trainer of the game comprehensively. And as we went through our process, and we had a tremendous pool of candidates, which I'm not surprised by, but I was a little bit interested in what it would look like because we're a little bit out of cycle in terms of when that soccer hiring process normally happens. That's typically a November, December type of time frame. But when Coach Reif left to go to Indiana just a couple of weeks ago, it put us in the position to go out and search. And great pool. Andy stood out as someone that exemplifies what Ball State stands for from a values standpoint, and from a development of the athlete standpoint. So when you combine those two, it's very unique that and special when we can find those human beings that want to come in to Ball State to grow it, that represent our brand and everything that we do. He was introduced to our team late on Tuesday via a video conference chat, and then in person on Wednesday. So he's in Muncie and is hitting the ground running with our team. They will continue their spring training starting today as they prepare to play a few spring games before the end of the academic year. And then he'll have all summer to get ready for their return to school as he goes into his first season here with the Cardinals.
You meant representing Ball State, and you talked about that with Andy and excitement building there for the soccer program. Somebody who's done that and exemplified that in her entire career, Janelle Rogers, back at Nationals on the track and field side of things. It's her last go-around, Jeff, at Nationals at Virginia Beach.
We're running out of superlatives to describe Janelle Rogers and everything that she has meant to our women's track and field program and to Ball State University. So we're really proud of Janelle and just her continued progress as an athlete. And she's a phenomenal student and a great human being too, and really is the definition of what a Ball State student athlete is and should be. And so we celebrate her and how we will cheer her on in these indoor nationals coming up. She competes on Friday and has a chance to be very special in that particular event, and we'll continue to cheer for her as she goes on to do great things should she continue to pursue athletics after her college career is over. But an All-American. She has top five finishes in the indoor and outdoor heptathlon, pentathlon, and looking to add to these accolades. And it's just a remarkable story for her, and a testament to Coach Wheatley and her teammates that continue to push her to help her do the things that she's capable of doing. And we just love watching her compete. And it's coming to an end, but we're so excited for her and the opportunities that she's going to have in the future.
Yeah, sending Janelle all the best of luck at Virginia Beach at Nationals for the Ball State track and field squad on the indoor side of things. Switching over to softball, Jeff, Michaela Timmons ranked the top 5 catcher in the entire country. We know what she is capable of doing. She had 3 home runs, MAC Player of the Week. She's done everything, but for the national landscape to catch a hold of what she's done this year after what she's done the last couple of years, always good to see, and really love to see the praise that she's getting.
Well, this is, again, an example of a student athlete who recognizes that she has the proper resources and the proper opportunity to thrive as a student athlete. And instead of chasing something that may or may not manifest at the quote unquote bigger levels, she has found a place where she believes that she can play her best softball and be her best person in terms of how to be a student and an athlete. And I think that is so important, particularly for our student athletes today, as the pressures of entering a transfer portal exist, as the pressures of, well, maybe if I can compete at a certain level, I can parlay that into competing at a higher level. And there's something reassuring about the fact that we have student athletes like a Janelle Rogers, like a Michaela Timmons, where they find a Ball State as a place where they can really grow and develop and hone their craft that may be recognized at an even bigger level that they never imagined. And so we celebrate Michaela too, and her commitment to Ball State softball, to Coach Helen Pena and her staff. And she's having a terrific season, and we look forward to continue to watch her play and compete as softball is off to a tremendous start to this 2025 season. So special to see her recognized by the softball community in that top 5 slot as a catcher, and just really excited for her as a person because she's easy to cheer for.
I love how you brought up the willingness and the want to stay at Ball State and build something great over a career, because like you said, there's always that temptation when you have a really good season at the quote unquote mid-major levels and could go somewhere else and do something. But kudos to Michaela and people like Janelle for staying at Ball State and continuing to elevate this university and this department. Jeff, looking at the Ball State football schedule came out recently. We haven't had a podcast episode since the football schedule came out, so I figured we should probably talk about that. There's 7 road games, 5 home games, 2 conference games on the road to end the season. What do you make of the Ball State football schedule here for 2025?
Well, I think as Coach Yurmovich and I have talked about it, we signed up to play football, and so we're excited to get the season going. We got a long way to go, a lot of work to do before we get to that first weekend. We've got some opportunities within the season to get some wins, and we'll be challenged in some games as well. And I think that's all great as we prepare for Mid-American Conference play. We do have the benefit of a home game during that MACtion month of November. And we also have some Saturday games as well. So, the schedule never really comes out the way that you want it to. But at the same time, the mentality has to be, hey, let's go play football. And I do think that this year's schedule as opposed to last year's. We're in a couple of we've got 2 consecutive years where we have multiple opportunities for a rest week, a bye week. And last year we really didn't get to benefit from it because we started the season a week later. Well, this year it sets up perfectly for us to play our non-conference schedule. We have a break, and then we play a couple of games. We have another break, and then we've got that Maction mini bye in there as well. And it does shape up well from the standpoint of the rhythm and cadence of games. We've got Family Day weekend set for our home opener. We've got homecoming on October 18th. We've got a community day on October 4th. And all of those things are going to be a lot of fun. And I think our fans will enjoy the opportunities that we have, especially in those first 3 home games when the weather should be really nice to come and support our new football coach and a new look Ball State Cardinals football program.
What I noticed is there's only one midweek Maction game this year for Ball State. A lot of you mentioned it. Saturdays are pretty heavy, but and then that one midweek Maction game at home. So you've got a lot of Saturday opportunities to come see Ball State this year.
That's right.
So make sure to check out the schedule. Go to ballstatesports.com. Check it out. Get your tickets. Get settled in. Like Jeff mentioned, those dates for the special events happening around campus. You also mentioned the warm weather. That's arrived here in Muncie, but it's even more so in Hawaii, where the men's volleyball team is at right now. They're getting ready for 3 games in 3 days. But Jeff, that's a huge opportunity for Donan Cruz and his squad to go compete down there in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's important for Coach Cruz to go home to Hawaii. We've got Xander on our team that also is a Hawaiian native, and for him to have the opportunity to go and play in front of a home crowd is fun. And it's a stacked field that we're going to play in or play against in Hawaii. But it's great for our program because our program has earned the opportunity as a nationally recognized program to go and play those elite programs. And I think when Coach Cruz mentioned that he was going to have this opportunity to go to Hawaii to play these top level opponents, it was an easy yes to say, hey, yes, we would go challenge yourself as a program, get ready for the back half of MIVA play, and also provide the student athletes with an opportunity to go see volleyball at a place that really celebrates the sport. They'll have some great crowds there over the next few days, and it'll be a wonderful atmosphere for our student athletes to participate in and to enjoy the camaraderie of their teammates and just to grow as a unit and to play high-level volleyball. So it's hard to pass that opportunity up.
Jeff, one more for you. Fat Hill, Peyton Sparks, honorable mention, All-Mid-American Conference team for men's basketball. Those two have been electric all season, and really good to see them celebrated on that level too.
Yeah, absolutely. They're well deserving of those recognitions, and we're very proud of Peyton, certainly for him returning to Ball State to play his senior year, and for Fat coming in as a first-time student here at Ball State and have the type of year that he did. Very special, and hopeful for him to continue to produce at a high level as he continues to improve as a college basketball player.
All right, Jeff, you're live from Cleveland. Is there anything else you want Ball State fans to know before we let you go?
The women tip tomorrow at 10 a.m., so if you're in the area, please come out and support us. Otherwise, tune in and watch our game. It's an early start, 10 o'clock start time as the number 1 seed going against number 4 seed Kent State. And chirp, chirp, let's go Cards.
All right, Jeff, appreciate you as always. Enjoy Cleveland. Bring us home the big one.
Thanks, Mick. Go Cards.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. GameBridge lets you invest on your terms, so you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at GameBridge.io.
Hey, Ball State Cardinal fans, we're back for another edition of This Week in Ball State Sports, and today we have a guest with us, and it's women's golfer JJ Gregston. JJ, really appreciate your time and hope everything went well down in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, let's start right there. Puerto Rico trip. Of course, the last day rained out, unfortunately, but overall, how was the experience for you and the women's golf team?
It was so much fun. We love that tournament. Obviously, we go every year. We went last year, and we'll go years going forward. But that one's just a lot of fun. It's a little bit different. We get a lot more downtime than we usually do. So we get to hang out with our families, with each other, and we get to see some families that we don't usually see throughout the year just because they live so far away. So just getting to hang out with our team, it's a great team bonding experience as compared to some other tournaments that we have, and it's just a lot of fun, especially weather's perfect and it's just a little bit different course than we usually get to play.
It was an early trip, though, right, to get to Puerto Rico. It was a early wake-up call, right?
It was, yeah. We left at 2:30 in the morning. My roommate and I actually didn't go to sleep that night. We just pulled an all-nighter. Um, we were like, we'll just sleep on the plane, which I didn't end up sleeping. But it was those trips they're fun, but they're also exhausting. But I think it's fun to wake up that early, and everyone's kind of a little bit delirious, and it's just everyone's laughing and stuff in the airport, so it's a lot of fun.
Right, everything is a joke at that point when you're
It is,
you're in
yeah.
that mode.
Yeah.
JJ, looking at the season as a whole so far this spring, how have you seen the team grow from the start?
I think we've definitely kind of like solidified and nailed down kind of our plan and what we want to do. I think everyone's playing some really solid golf right now. We're qualifying for our Georgia State tournament, and we see some good scores going out with that. Everyone's just kind of finding their groove and getting to play some really solid golf. So I think we've grown a lot since the first of the season, and it should be a lot of fun going forward just to see how our games progress going forward.
How about you individually? What are some things that you've been working on throughout the course of the spring?
It's kind of been off and on. Everything's been switching. For a while, it was my ball striking. It wasn't very good. Now we've got that nailed down, and my putting's back to being not great. But I've been working on that, and so everything's kind of evening out and getting back to where I kind of want it to be. It's definitely stressful, especially whenever you don't have one thing in specific that's bad. Everything's just not quite where you want it to be. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of get that back, but I think I'm close to that.
When you look at the spring season, JJ, there's only a couple of more of these invitationals left before the MAC hits us, and of course that'll be here at Delaware County. But when you look at these last couple of tournaments and the time between now and those tournaments, how do you make sure that all those details are getting taken care of the way that you want it to?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to go in with a game plan every single day. You can't, like, there's no time to waste, especially this late in the season. So you've got to know what you want to work on and get those things done during the practice time that we do have. Luckily, the weather's been good this week, so we've been able to get outside. For a while, we were inside every single day, which is hard to, see our ball fly and get those swings down and everything. But it's crunch time. So you've got to definitely go in with a game plan, like I said, and just make sure that you're being smart with your time and getting all that stuff nailed down.
From the fall to today, with the stretch that brings for a golf program, how have you seen the team grow from that standpoint, not just from the spring to now, but from very first days of getting to campus in August and beyond?
Yeah, we always say golf season's actually a lot longer than a lot of people think. Obviously, we have 2 seasons, but there's not a break. We kind of go from February until like November of straight competition mode. We play in the summer as well. So you come in and everyone's just, you're happy to see each other and you're kind of getting back into the groove of things. So the first few tournaments are a little bit shaky. You kind of get back in that groove and then you go into your, whatever it is, a month of off season, if you want to call it that. We still practice on our own time, several hours a day, just to keep ourselves sharp. But I think that off season is really crucial, especially from the fall. The spring season's kind of our like big season. It's our important one. Obviously, conference is in the spring, so just making sure that we take those mistakes and those problems that we had in the fall and move them into the spring and progress on those is important.
JJ, what have you learned most about yourself at Ball State during your time here?
Oh gosh, that I'm not as good as I thought I was. um, No, I think I've grown a lot as a person being here. Obviously, I'm 14 hours from home, which for some people, obviously coming from other countries, that's not a big deal. But for me, that's a long drive. That's a long way from home and from everything that I've known. So I think just growing as a person, it's allowed me to grow in my golf game as well, just being a little bit more independent than I was and just relying on the people that I have here and kind of making my own moves as I go.
Your parents have been able to come to a couple of events, though.
Yes, yeah, they come to almost every, I guess every single one pretty much, which has been nice. People are always like, it must be so hard. And I'm like, it's a lot easier whenever you see your folks every week. Um, it's just the friends and the grandparents and brother that I miss most of the time just because I don't see them very often.
What's it like to have parents that are dedicated to make sure that they see all of your competitions?
Oh, it's great. They've always been super supportive of me and my brother both, taking off work to come to all of our events. My grandparents are good about it too, but my parents, they've just been great. They've always been so supportive, getting me to stuff and making sure that they come once I'm in college. I wasn't expecting them to come to as much stuff as they do, but they're there every single time cheering me on like always.
What have been some of your favorite moments at Ball State? I know you've been here for a couple of years now, but like what are some moments that stick out to you?
Oh gosh. We do, our team is super close. There's not very many of us, so that's kind of like our group of friends. So we do some team bonding stuff. We go to dinner a lot of times, and it's just a lot of fun to kind of hang out with them all the time. And you always have those people that have your back. It's just a consistent group of people. So probably my favorite memories have come from hanging out with them outside of the golf course, just because we're there all the time. But you really get to see each other's personalities and grow together whenever you hang out outside of it.
I thought you were going to say every trip to Puerto Rico, but that's probably on the
Well, that
list as
one's
well.
good too, but
JJ, you're pretty active outside of competing in golf and outside of school as well. You're part of Ball State Sports Link student production program. But what's that experience been like for you to get your experience in the career path as well outside of golf?
it's been so much fun. They've been super supportive with getting me on air. I do sideline stuff, so they put me on as a freshman, which doesn't happen a lot. And I was so nervous to do it. But it's allowed me to grow a lot as a person, just kind of getting thrown into that mix a little bit. And now I obviously do it with UMS. So it's been so much fun. And I'm really thankful for SportsLink for getting me to Ball State. That's how I found Ball State originally, was through the SportsLink program. I knew that that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I couldn't be more grateful for them and for reaching out an arm to let me in on this opportunity.
For you, how do you balance that? Because those are two very demanding time commitments from golf and the broadcast program. How do you pair all of that together and make sure that you're staying on top of it all?
It can be hard, especially whenever we're traveling. I'm not here for a lot of events that we get to do on air. So just making sure that I'm taking those opportunities that I do have whenever I'm here. I do a lot of prep on trips because I'm gone all the time. So it can get a little bit tedious, but just knowing that the end result is something that I want makes it a lot easier to push through that.
Whenever you work with us on sideline, whenever I text you, I'm thinking, I don't know if she's in the air somewhere or if she's on the course or what she's doing, but we might have a coach call here in a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know where I am, but I also don't know where you are since you're gone all the time too.
That's a fair point. That's a very fair point. JJ, when you said that you wanted to be a part of the SportsLink program, that's how you found Ball State. When did you know that this was the career path that you wanted to go for?
Oh, I don't know. I changed my mind a lot growing up, but kind of I think probably my senior year of high school, I was like, that would be really cool. I was watching a golf tournament. The Players is coming up. I think it was actually around this time that I was like, that would be really fun to just sit there on TV and talk about this stuff. And I love sports. I always have. My family's a big sports family. So it was just, and like, as soon as I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that's for sure what I want to do. And then I found SportsLink, and they were able to give me that opportunity, and it just made it easy to get my foot in the door, and it's been a lot of fun to do it.
Do you see the competitiveness and having that locked in intensity as a golfer come into play in broadcasting too? Does that help, or are they two different windows for you, two separate things?
That's a good question. I've never actually really thought about that. I guess it probably helps a little bit, just because red light comes on and you've got to be like in the zone. It's kind of like hitting a drive on a tight hole. But I think with golf, you're kind of having to be locked in the entire time, whereas with on-air stuff, I guess you're locked in a lot, but you also get to have a little bit of fun and focus on the game. Which with golf, I'm so stressed out all the time that I'm not focused on anything except for what's in front of me. So it's a little similar, but also at the same time, it's pretty different.
What are some of your favorite memories in the broadcasting sphere so far?
Oh, I don't know. There's been some close games. I was on a men's basketball game this year that went into overtime. That was really fun. It was a crazy game. You were on that game for radio, I think. That one was crazy, but just like also like the people that I meet a lot of people that are, sitting on the sidelines, and they've always been super supportive of me. So that's always been a lot of fun. I don't have like a ton of funny memories, I guess. All my mess ups are traumatic, and I still think about them to this day. But that's probably the biggest thing for me.
I love it. JJ, before we let you go here on This Week in Ball State Sports, is there anything else you might think Ball State fans would find interesting about who you are as a person, golfer, broadcaster, anything?
Who I am as a person? I don't know. I don't think I'm super interesting. I'm from Oklahoma. That's about all I've got. My accent gets worse whenever I'm nervous, so if you ever see me on TV and it's a little bit more hick than usual, that's why. But I don't know. I'm just really grateful for all the fans that we have here. Y'all have been great with everything, and Cardinal Nation is one of the best with all the sports, especially with women's sports, which you don't see some places. So I'm just really thankful for everyone.
Awesome. Well, JJ, really appreciate your time here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Good luck the rest of the year. We can't wait to see the MAC championships hosted here in Muncie this year.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Hey, Ball State baseball fans, we're back with another edition of This Week in Ball State Sports. And today we have assistant coach Alex Maloney joining us. Alex, really appreciate your time joining us here on the show.
Thanks for having me, Mick. Excited to be on here.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you, and we're going to talk a lot about the season and Ball State baseball. But first, want to start off with your dad. Is he still smelling like Gatorade after that Gatorade bath?
He's probably still freezing cold. They got him pretty good from what I was told. I missed it. But I know he was freezing after. They got him like it was a good little ice bath on the back right there. So yeah, he was ready to get home after that and get those wet clothes off.
A well-deserved Gatorade bath after 1,000 victories accomplished on Tuesday against Purdue Fort Wayne. Great job by Grant Miller and Max Kalk, by the way, to get that Gatorade bath organized in such quick fashion.
That was clutch. They were ready for it.
It was clutch. Alex, I would love to go down the conversation of talking about your dad. You've been around the game of baseball for so long. Of course, most of that has been spent around your dad. When you look at 1,000 wins and you look at what Tuesday's moment meant to the Maloney family, how would you describe that?
I don't know if there's great words to describe it. I mean, it's just been a long time coming. Following the course of his career from, I was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan, so Western Michigan University, and his first coaching stop. But I was just born, so I don't really remember those days, but. From the earliest days of the University of Michigan and, going back from Western Michigan to Ball State University and still very young at that point, but kind of running around the field and then going to the University of Michigan. And that was really where, that's where I grew up and, really started to follow the course of his career and, being in the dugout and everything like that. And then coming back to Ball State and ultimately playing for him at Ball State. And then now joining him back as an assistant a couple years ago. it's been special. It's truly a family affair here. It's a special deal. Doing it for 30 years at the level that he's done it at is incredible. All of those wins are at the Division I level, and it's truly remarkable to see how he's done it, and he's done it all the right way throughout his entire course of his career. He's built relationships. He's developed many players. It's just a special deal for our family, and it's been a long time coming, and he's always had success, and it's a great milestone, and that we were so excited for, and a lot of family came in to celebrate with him. So we're just so proud of him for his career that he's had.
You mentioned family. How cool was it to see Coach Decker also in attendance for that game?
That was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I found out he was coming day of. I had no idea. But Coach Decker is instrumental in my dad's career. And my dad, it's like my dad's second father. So he's like a second grandfather to me. He's a important person in our family's lives, and he's always been there. He's always supported us. Most importantly, he supported my father, as a player, and then giving him his first coaching opportunity, and then, just always following his career. And I think he's a big reason for the success that my father's had. That was so special for him to drive down day of, and then he drove back that night. So, that's a 3.5 hour drive
right.
Each way. So, we're just so thankful for Coach Decker and his family, and they're like family to us. So we're so thankful for them.
Of course, Coach Decker coaching head coach Rich Maloney for a long time at Western Michigan in the 80s, and Coach Decker over 700 wins in his own right with the Western Michigan Broncos program. Alex, during that game against Purdue-Fort Wayne on Tuesday, for Coach Maloney to get that 1,000th win, it was back and forth. It was a 7-1 game early on. Purdue-Fort Wayne jumped out to that lead, and then Ball State battles back. How was the team able to just get that one done for that 1,000th win?
This team has been really interesting in the regard of, we like to, sometimes we like to get behind a little bit, but there's no quit in this team. They keep fighting back, and it's a true testament to our boys, and there's no fight or no quit in them at all. They're making it a little bit hard on us coaches. We're breathing a little hard, with getting down by some runs early, but there's no quit in them, and they've done this multiple times this year, and we're so proud of them for it. And they always find a way to come back. But yeah, credit to Purdue-Fort Wayne. They came out ready to go, and they jumped out to that early lead, and then our boys kind of settled in the middle innings there. Jaden Bitter really helped us out, and getting us some zeros on the board, and our offense just stayed the course. They knew the plan, and they just had quality at bats the rest of the way, and they kept fighting. And really proud of them for that. And it was just a great team win. So many guys contributed, and we're just so proud of them. And it was just a great team win from so many different guys. So we're proud of them for that.
We were talking about the wind tunnel possibly being a pretty big factor coming up this weekend against Toledo, possible up to 40-mile-an-hour winds. That right center field has always been one place that hitters go, and you had a couple of hits that went that way, an Alex Richter home run as well that went out to right center field. When you have guys that know how to use that home field advantage, it seems like that always comes into play in Muncie.
Yeah. Well, it is like you said, a home field advantage when you know how to handle the wind, and we don't try to talk too much about it offensively. At least we just try to get a barrel on the baseball. That's the biggest thing, because sometimes if you start talking about the wind with the guys, and then it's like a twofold with the hitters. If you start talking about it and then they're trying to force it that
right.
side, then what can happen is you swing and miss, or you just don't have the best day. And vice versa. If the pitchers kind of come to the park and all of a sudden they're just seeing the wind howling outside, out to out to McGalliard out there, it can mess with the psyche a little bit. But nonetheless, our boys are trained. They know how to do it. We worked on fly ball communication yesterday extensively. Nobody's more prepared than our boys for that wind, in my opinion. So we'll be ready for it. They're going to be excited, but definitely to answer your question, getting a quality barrel, on the ball, with the, being on time and getting a good pitch, with those three things together, good results happen with the wind when it's blowing out. So we definitely, we have an understanding of how to use that wind properly.
Alex, we talked a little bit about the celebration with your dad getting the Gatorade bath after the game, but before all that took place and then after that took place, a chance for the team to gift Coach Maloney a 1,000 win jersey, and then players, coaches, family members all rushing onto the field for pictures in the celebration. For you, when you look back on that moment a couple of days removed from it, how can you process the emotions of all of that?
Just seeing the video on the board and seeing how happy all those boys were to get that win for my father, and seeing how happy, my father was just 30 years into this, to, get that milestone. And I think I can't speak on behalf of what my father was thinking, but I'm assuming that he was just, processing all of the emotion of, all those players that came, and, and all the, seeing the video board and thinking back to the old ball diamond, and just how far this place has really come. He's so proud, and just seeing him and how happy he was out there, it made myself and my family so happy. And we're just, like I said, we're just so proud of him for doing it. Ultimately, he did everything the right way. He has that. He's won the Character and Ethics Award in college baseball. So in his profession, many people, he's so highly thought of in our profession, and and highly regarded. And we're just so proud of him for doing that. And just watching him out there celebrate with our boys was truly a special deal for our family.
It was a sight to see, because he was a little bit emotional watching some of the videos and things like that on the board, and being surrounded by the team. That was a powerful moment, I think, for fans and people in attendance to see that.
Yeah, the relationships that he's built in this program, and not only this program, but at the University of Michigan, and even in his days at Western Michigan. So those relationships last a lifetime, and that's just a credit to who my father is. And I think that's what he's most proud of. I can't speak on behalf of him, but I would assume if you asked him, just the relationships that he's built is more important than the wins. Just to have those lifetime relationships, and I think that's what he was probably processing a little bit, was seeing those guys on the video, and seeing Ryan Lamar and Jarrett James and Zach Putnam, and not to miss anybody on the video, but those are the first few guys that came to mind. And just seeing those guys from the past, and seeing them take time out of their day and congratulate my father on that 1,000 win was special. And that's what we're most proud of. And we have such a strong alumni base here, and at the University of Michigan as well, to where those guys want to he's built such a great foundation and a culture and relationships with these guys that they're so happy for him. And I think that's one of the biggest things he's most proud of.
Alex, before we let you go here on This Week in Ball State Sports, looking at the baseball team as a whole, 3-0 in the Mid-American Conference, won 6 games in a row. How is this team positioned to continue doing what it's done throughout the course of the 20 years that Coach Maloney's been the head coach, of course, but how is this team positioned to make another run and be at the top of the MAC like you guys want it to be?
This team has done everything the right way. They're a really gritty group. We're really proud of them. They have worked so hard for this moment that they're in right now. And like I said earlier, there's no quitting them. It's like I said, it's we've had multiple comeback games. We're going to try to get out to an early lead, by the way, Mick, this weekend. But I can't, no promises. But we like to sometimes we like to make it a little dramatic. But it's we're, like I said, we're so proud of them, and there's no quitting them. They're gritty. They embody everything about Ball State baseball that we've had in our program's history. They're believing in each other. They're a close knit group. I mean, they really are. I mean, if you just come and hang out in the dugout, you'll see like they're best friends, and they're from all over the country. And they came together as a team, and they're fun. They're, very energetic group. And like I said, they've worked so hard, and they're ready for this moment. They really are. They are ready. They're hungry. And they have a goal of what they want to accomplish, that we all do. And, they're ready for this moment. And we're so excited to, have another MAC series, another opportunity to, continue what we've done for the past couple of weeks. And, we're ready for this moment.
All right, I was kidding. I have one more question for you. Is there a message that you want to send to your dad, Rich Maloney, right now here on the podcast?
Yeah. Dad, I'm so proud of you, man. I mean, it's truly this is such a special moment in the course of your career, and to be able to do it, and to be able to be with you in your dugout again, our second time around, there's no words to describe it. I'm so thankful and blessed to be able to share a dugout with you. We got a lot more work to do, as you know, but we're pushing along well, and I'm just thankful that you brought me in the first time, and more thankfully you brought me in a second time. And we're just so proud of you. Thank you for setting the standard and teaching me everything that you've taught me. I'm getting a free like a blueprint book on how to be a good coach. If I someday be a head coach, if I get to half the wins that you get to, that's a solid career. So it's a testament to the career you've had, and so proud of you. And our whole family is, and we can't wait to continue this season on with you.
Awesome. Well, Alex, really appreciate your time here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Good luck this weekend. Can't wait to see some early runs in Muncie this week, and appreciate you as always.
Thanks, Mick. Appreciate you, man. We'll see you around.
Thanks for listening to This Week in Ball State Sports, presented by Gainbridge. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Gainbridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network.